آيات الله والحكمة إن الله كان يا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Yes, Ibrahim?
Yes, there's a problem. I mean, I can't move my slides unless you guys have done something to stop me from.
No, I think the meeting is being live streamed, so you must just press the button there.
I'm trying to press. Okay. I can't move my slides. Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it now. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And welcome everybody to this, our third Quran Tafsir session for Ramadan. And we are most pleased this afternoon to welcome Professor Ibrahim Musa, who is the Mirza Family Professor of Islamic Thought and Muslim Societies at the University of Notre Dame. He needs little further introduction to the community of Claremont Main Road Masjid. He is one of our family. So we welcome you and thank you again, Ibrahim, for taking another session. You've done so during our COVID years, and we are much appreciative of that. So we look forward to your session this afternoon. Just to remind participants to keep yourselves on mute during the session. And when we have Q&A at the end, we'll allow you to unmute, but do feel free to use the chat if you have questions or comments during the presentation. Shukran, Ibrahim. So over to you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa man wala. Thank you, Sister Jamia, for this kind introduction. It's always great to talk to the community of the Claremont Main Road Mosque and its global audience. And thank you to Imam Abdul Rashid Omar for inviting me to participate and share some thoughts on this. So today I want to talk about Surah 76, Surah Al-Insan, or Surah Al-Dahr. That means the title either is one of the two things, is either Al-Insan, that means the human being, or the surah called Time. This surah is a very interesting surah to me, and different people connect to the Quran in very different ways. One always has a kind of a personal relationship with certain passages and certain verses of the Quran. So when Imam Abdul Rashid asked me to do something, I said, well, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something on Surah Al-Dahr. And so this is, the surah that I want to talk about. So it is not sure whether this is a Makkan surah or whether this is a Medinan surah. I am leaning towards the view that says that this is a Makkan surah, and maybe parts of it were revealed in Medina. It consists of 31 verses, and some of the commentators even counted for us the number of words in the surah and the number of letters. And like many other, surahs of the Quran, the attraction in this surah is that the verse endings are what's also called the separators of one verse from the other is an alif. So the verse ends, هل أتى على الإنسان بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا إنا خلقنا الإنسان من نطفة أمشاج نبتليه فجعلناه سميعا بصيرا. And it goes on every line, kafura, sa'ira, kafura. So these rhythmic endings, also known as the nazm of the Quran in one sense, the kind of the semantic nazm, the semantic coherence. There's also then the literary coherence of the Quran. And so this is where, how this verse for me has a great beauty and attachment because of the easy flow of the verse over the tongue. The themes of the surah, whether it's al-insan or time. Now, I put the word time there, even though the word is dahr. It really means the surah is about not time in the mechanical time in terms of our clock time, but here it means time from the beginning to the end of creation, and that is what is called dahr. So it is what we would call philosophically duration. And what I like about the surah, that interspersed between, high moments of spirituality and taqarrub and proximity to Allah, you have a question in 2 lines about, human origins and existence, about the human will and the choices we make. There's all kinds of incentives strewn in various parts of the surah. It asks us to, strengthen ourselves to ethical behavior and beware of the trap of heedlessness, inattentiveness. There's a strong drive towards conscientiousness and spiritual development. Then there's talks about Judgment Day. And what I find most powerfully at the end is, the closing lines is about what I call Allah's grace is the path to eternal life. And the interesting feature that you will see in the surah is that things are presented in pairs, in duality, and we'll go through that in a minute. And so it's the flow of the rhyme ending combined with the profound meanings, the serious invitation to look at yourself biologically, and also to look at yourself morally. The term insan, from the root word alif nun sa, alif nun sin rather. So one interpretation is ins, that humans are the opposite of jinn, but also that human beings, the root word could be uns, that is the opposite of loathsome, aversion, and dislike. In other words, that we are likable, we are sociable, human beings are sociable, we are intimate, we are friendly. And therefore, Muslim philosophers have always argued that the human being is social in nature because we like each other, we like each other's company, we like to be with each other, we find comfort in each other. And so therefore, I'm leaning more towards the meaning about the human being, that the root word comes from uns. Others also say that maybe it is from another root that it has been given is nasiya, that is nisyan, that human being is forgetful. And yes, we are forgetful in a whole variety of ways. And so therefore, I think we should also keep that meaning in mind. And maybe it is, both these meanings are not contradictory to each other, that we are likable, sociable, intimate, and friendly, but also we also forget. And that is part of our human nature. Dahr, as I explained earlier, that means eternity, a long duration, the age of the world from its inception till its conclusion. And it is a longer and more enduring form of time, and therefore I call it duration. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, do not curse duration, do not curse time, for surely Allah is Dahr, or duration, meaning Allah is associated with duration as the creator of duration. Another interpretation first says Dahr means Allah is the duration. He is the maker, and he is the one who makes things happen in time. So if you insult time when things are bad or sad, then you are insulting the one who makes duration. So I think essentially what this says is that we should stop lamenting, time and place and so on, but rather put the lament where it ought to belong, which is on us as human beings. We are the people who are making things and doing things to ourselves. So this is the beginning of the surah. There's a translation. I will read a few lines. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا إنا خلقنا الإنسان من نطفة أمشاج نبتليه فجعلناه سميعا بصيرا. Has there, I don't have to read if you all are seeing the screen, so I will partially read since you can see it. So this question here, the surah starts with a question. It's a question. Has there not been an endless span of time before human appeared, a time when human being was not yet a thing to be thought of? I'm using Muhammad Asad's translation. And I really don't like, I should have changed it. I really don't like it when people translate insan as man. That's the old translation. It is a human being. And I think the translation is very, very partial and obviously not updated. But I will read it as, and we have created human being out of a drop of sperm intermingled so that we might try the human being in their later lives. And therefore we made a human being endowed with hearing and sight. So this question of has there been a time is not actually a question mark. The hal actually stands for, in the Arabic language, and all the commentators say it means definitely there was qad. Qad ata ala al-insani hinu min ad-dahr. The question answer is just, was there definitely a time where human beings were not even mentioned, not even a thing that has been mentioned? The answer is yes. Then if the answer is yes, then that raises the question, who created this human? And then it means that this is a reference to all of Adam's offspring, Adam and Eve's offspring. Inna khalaqna al-insana min nutfat, and we created human beings. But let me just pause here for a little bit, because in the Arabic language there is something called tawassu, that is semantic extension, where words and context can produce two or more possible meanings. So was a human being not a thing? In other words, was a human being a thing but just not mentioned or thought of or remembered? Or, was he already there but just not remembered? So that is what it's mentioned, madhkura. And when with this verse, the first verse says shay'an madhkura, a thing, when it wasn't the thing mentioned, and that prepares you for the second verse that says we created the human being, inna khalaqna al-insana min nutfa, from a kind of a mixture. But the key thing here is nabtalihi, that the whole idea here is to put a human being through a moral stress test, a story of intense testing. Will be mentioned ahead as I come to that section where this question of human testing comes out. And the way we are tried, the way we are tested, the Quran privileges the idea of the ear, to hear the message, then to see, and then possibly after that to reason. So this question of hearing and listening, and there are other verses that Quran that says, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْتُكَ مِنْ قَبْلِ وَلَمْ تَكُ شَيْئًا. I created you from before and you were not a thing. أَوَلَا يَذْكُرُ الْإِنسَانُ أَنَّا خَلَقْنَاهُ مِنْ قَبْلِ وَلَمْ يَكُ شَيْئًا. That, do human beings not remember that we created him before wasn't a thing. So it wasn't a thing. So now this verse raised the question, wasn't a thing, but was he even thought of? And this is so interesting. If we just ponder this, that we often take our egos and we take ourselves so seriously. But in the big scheme of things, of this universe, in the big scheme of our understanding of the cosmos, as a constantly expanding cosmos, that we are just and we as individuals are just a bit player. And it is really something that should instill in us a certain humility. That we are not even, there was a time that we were not even something mentioned or thought of. In some way, it seems that we were an afterthought. If there can be a sense of humor in this. And yet, this afterthought human being is also لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. We created this human being in the best of forms. ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ. We also degraded this human being to the lowest of low. In other words, in both instances, it is how we exercise our will to become the best of best, or its opposite. So I think, therefore I really like the surah, because the very opening lines is a kind of a put down to the human ego. And, the fluid that you were made of that results in procreation, it's not something that it's very valuable for the role that it plays. But culturally and otherwise, we want to clean ourselves of it very quickly. But then, after taking us into all these kind of paradoxical moments of who and what we are, it says, نَبْتَلِيهِ فَجَعَلْنَاهُ سَمِيعًا بَصِيرًا. We want to put him through this test, this moral stress test. And we made him the one that hears and one that sees. Because hearing, seeing, and all these of our senses are important. But I think hearing is one that reaches the heart the quickest. And therefore you'll see the Quran always starts with hearing before seeing. إِنَّا هَدَيْنَاهُ السَّبِيلَ إِمَّا شَاكِرًا وَإِمَّا كَفُورًا. إِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا لِلْكَافِرِينَ سَلَاسِلَ وَأَغْلَالًا وَسَعِيرًا. Where we have shown the human being the way and addressed with him to prove himself either grateful or ungrateful. Now behold, for those who deny the truth, we have ready chained in shackles and a blazing flame. Kafura means an exaggerated form of ingratitude, which is at the core of unbelief. So human beings, when they use their hearing and their sight and their reason, will be given the option to choose between the path of gratitude or ingratitude. Imma shakiran, imma kafura. So the shakir is a different form, is the active participle, but kafura is the exaggerated one that human beings that are deeply displaying ingratitude. And then the verse quickly switches over. Behold, for those who deny the truth, the ungrateful ones, we have ready chains and shackles and a blazing fire. I mean, this is kind of, both musical and scary. سلاسل وأغلالا وسعيرا. It follows these three letters, follows the kind of separating verses at the end and everything ending with a alif, but the salasila also, aghlalan also ends with a alif. So it is the rhyme ending, but you get it in three moments, in three rhythmic moments. And that is very enchanting because really the Quran enters you through your hearing. The Quran is originally an oral teaching. It is not something that was written down in the beginning. Maybe some people had to write it down to preserve things, but basically getting to the ear and the hearing, it is and enters into the heart. And this musicality makes it so more effective of it. إن الأبرار يشربون من كأس كان مزاجها كافورا. The truly virtuous shall drink from a cup flavored with a calyx of sweet-smelling flowers. عينا يشرب بها عباد الله يفجرونها تفجيرا. It is a source of bliss whereof Allah's servants shall drink, seeing it flow in a flow abundant. Note how the virtuous are here mentioned in the present tense. So, the calyx is that part of the flower that looks like a cup. It's called the sepals. And it says that this cup is a musk-smelling pure white water.
Oh, bad Wi-Fi.
Can someone just close down the sound, please? And the water of Kafur, name of a spring in paradise. And so, but the important part here is how the Quran talks about the virtuous. And they are mentioned in the present tense, as if they are already there. Doesn't talk about in the future, doesn't talk in the past. إن الأبرار يشربون من كأس كان مزاجها كافورا عين يشرب بها عباد الله يفجرونها تفجيرا. It's a flow, a magnificent flow, an abundant flow. Now comes the important, kind of the core of the surah. Because it says, it talks about إن أين يشرب عباد الله يفجرونها تفجيرا. يوفون, who are those servants of God? يوفون بالنظر ويخافون يوما كان شره مستطيرا ويطعمون الطعام على حبه مسكينا ويتيما وأسيرا إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا. So the truly virtuous are those who fulfill their vows and stand in awe of a day, the woe of which is bound to spread far and wide. This is very powerful. That they, one, fulfill their vows, وَيَخَافُونَ يَوْمًا, and they are in awe. They are fearful of a day, of a shar, of a harm that is going to be long duration, a long duration. Because the awe of the day and the kind of negative impulse of the day of judgment is going to be almost like an eternity. So these people who stand in awe, who are apprehensive of this day that's going to be very long, they feed people out of love for Allah. No matter, and this, however great be their own want of it, you will know that in a minute who it is referring to. People who themselves are poor, but they give to the needy, to the poor, to the orphan and the captive. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to say that when he had a captive, he would hand over to his companions and say, be good to him. And then they would feed this captive for 3 days over their own needs, privileging, giving preference. This is where the topic of ithar, another place of the Quran, a guest of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was delegated to a companion with just a little bit of food. And he told his wife, listen, I got this guest and I need to feed him, but there will not be enough for all of us. So put the children to sleep. When you serve the food, accidentally put out the lamp so that my guests can't see that I'm not partaking of the food. And the next morning, and this companion goes to the mosque. The Prophet says, where's the one who took my guest home? This companion was very hesitant to respond. Prophet had to ask several times. Finally, he gingerly said, it's me. He said, what did you do? What did you do to my guest? And this man got even more afraid. He said, what did you do to my guest that Allah said, sent me the revelation, وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ, that they privilege others above themselves, even though they are in most of want. They are most needy. So similar, same message here. Or some say the Prophet said, your debtor is your captive. So be kind to your captive. Some say is the imprisoned slave that you need to take care of. And therefore it leads some people to believe that this might have been not in Mecca revealed, but in Medina, because in Mecca, there were no wars that you could take prisoners of war as slaves. But the real context of this verse is a story of Sayyidina Ali, Sayyidina Fatima, Fidda, their servant, and the two grandsons of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Sayyidina Hussein and Sayyidina Hassan. And the story goes like this, that Sayyidina Hassan and Hussein were very ill. And so the Prophet ﷺ came to visit them, as it was the sunnah that you visit those who are sick. But the Prophet didn't come alone, but there was also a group of people with him. So one of the party that joined the Prophet said to Sayyidina Ali, Ya Abul Hassan, O father of Hassan, why don't you take a vow? And take a vow that if Allah heals my children, I will undertake this action in sacrifice for healing my children. I'll do a good deed. You can take a vow. You can say you're going to give money. You can perform umrah. You will feed people. You will fast. And so they then decided. Sayyidina Ali, Sayyidina Fatima, and Sayyida Fidda, they decided that they're going to fast for 3 days. And they fasted, for 3 days. Day one of the fast, Sayyidina Ali goes to Sam'un, a Jewish merchant, and on credit borrows, say, 3 pounds of barley. And he takes it home and he says to Sayyidina Fatima, at least we can spread this over 3 days. And Sayyidina Fatima grinds the barley with her own hands. And then she makes 5 flatbreads out of that. And just as they were about to break their fast, this optional fast of theirs, this fast in honor of their vow, a needy, a miskeen, a poor person comes and says that, I am a very needy person among all the Muslims. If you feed me, God will feed you from the tables of paradise. And basically, the 5 of them just handed over their breads to this needy person. And they went to sleep the night, hungry. The next day, a similar event of fasting, bread is baked, flatbreads. As they're breaking their fast, an orphan comes and asks, and they give it. Third day, similar thing happens. A captive comes and asks for food, and they hand over the food. And these people are now so emaciated, and they're so hungry. At some point, Sayyidina Ali takes Sayyidina Hassan and Hussein to the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam just to meet with him. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sees these 2 kids, his grandsons, his beloved grandsons, and he says, why am I seeing these 2 kids shivering like chicken? That is, that they were so hungry that their bodies were like shivering. So I can't bear this. So he takes Sayyidina Ali and Sayyidina Hussein and Sayyidina Hassan. The 3 of them, the 4 of them now go and see Sayyidina Fatima. And they go see Sayyidina Fatima. She was in her room, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam looked at her and saw that her stomach was almost close to her spine, so emaciated she was. And he burst out crying profusely. It's in that context that Jibreel comes to the Prophet ﷺ and gives him this glad tidings and says, what these people have done, the actions that they have shown and demonstrated, The selflessness that they have done and displayed means that Allah has promised them what this verse promises, what this surah promises, that what those who do self-sacrifice, what they will earn in the year after. Because what did they say? إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا. We feed you, we feed these needy people, we feed the orphan, we feed the captive. For the sake of liwajhillah, for the sake of Allah alone, we intend for this no recompense from you, the recipient, no thanks. إِنَّا نَخَافُ مِنْ رَبِّنَا يَوْمًا عَبُوسًا قَمْطَرِيرًا. Because we stand in awe of our sustainer's judgment on a distressful, fateful day. They didn't say, we don't want. They said, we don't even intend. Before it even, in our hearts, we already made it clear, we don't want any recompense for this. We don't want our intentions to be sullied by thinking that giving charity is a quid pro quo, that we will get something in the year after, that Allah will give us rewards and so on. We just don't want, we're just doing it for the face of God. Liwajhillah, for the sake of God. Wajh really means the face of God. In other words, to earn his face, to earn the face of Allah, to earn the satisfaction of Allah. We don't want verbal thanks. No compensation. Selflessness and heroic character of that generation. That is what we call a heroic character. Heroic character is the thing by which nations are changed. When individuals take certain positions and they become individuals and communities that engage in life-transforming, world-transforming events. Imagine, Arabs from that part of the world who were inspired by a message of a man saying that I've been sent by God to tell you about an everlasting future. And this is what you need to do. A part of the world that none of the empires were really interested in. They were unsullied by either the Roman or neither the Byzantine or the Eastern Roman Empire, nor the Persian Empire. And it's these people's real heroic character that they developed as individuals that made it possible that they could take this message beyond the borders of Arabia into the rest of the world and share with humanity. It's only people who have heroic character, which we so completely lack. Only people who have heroic character, who can sacrifice themselves for others, who can make life-transforming changes for themselves and for others. When we buy someone a cup of coffee, we expect them to tell us thank you. It's nice etiquette to say thank you, but one should never hold it in your heart. Or when you feed somebody, don't expect the email and say, thank you very much for the dinner. It's the good akhlaq of your guest who goes back and says, thank you for the dinner, or writes you a note, or sends you something, a gift or something of that sort. But you should not. If you want to liwajhillah, and especially when we do acts of charity, it's best not to let what the one hand does, don't let the other hand know about it. And it says what they say, the description here of the day of judgment is that fear is anticipatory, and it says qamtarir. And qamtarir means that you are so fearful that your eyes pop up, that all that an onlooker can see is your two eyes the middle of your forehead, you can hardly see it. And so the Quran gives that day the kind of qualities that humans experience, because the day cannot be in itself be distressing and fearful. We experience it as distressful. فوقاهم الله شر ذلك اليوم ولقاهم نظرة وسرورا وجزاهم بما صبروا جنة وحريرا متكئين فيها على الأرائك لا يرون فيها شمسا ولا زمهريرا. And so Allah will preserve them from the woes of the day, people with that kind of character, and will bestow on them brightness and joy, and will reward them for all their patience in adversity with a garden of bliss and with garments of silk. In that garden they will on couches recline, and they will know there is neither burning sun nor cold severe. Zamharir, actually, the cold severe is actually, Zamharir means gloominess. So it basically displays the gloominess when you experience cold. Those of us who live in American Midwest, we know exactly what severe cold is. And we also know gloominess from time to time. Thank God for heating inside and indoors, that our mood can change when we come in. And since His blissful shades will come down low over them, and low will hang down clusters of fruit, most easy to reach. وَدَانِيَةً عَلَيْهِمْ ظِلَالُهَا وَظُلِّلَتْ قُطُوفُهَا تَذْلِيلًا. And these blissful shades will come down low over them, giving them cover, and they will be able to take fruits. This is the reward for those who do ithar, who do self-sacrifice. ويطاف عليهم بآنية من فضة وأكواب كانت قوارير من فضة قدروها تقديرا ويسقون فيها كأسا كان مزاجها زنجبيلا عينا فيها تسمى سلسبيلا ويطوف عليهم ولدان مخلدون إذا رأيتهم حسبتهم لؤلؤا منثورا. And those who deserve that paradise will be waited upon with vessels of silver and goblets that will seem to be crystal-like but of silver, the measure of whereof they will alone will determine. In that paradise they will be given to drink a cup flavored with ginger, derived from a source to be found therein, whose name is Seek Thy Way, and immortal youths will wait upon them. And when you see these youths, thou would deem them to be scattered pearls. Majduddin Al-Fayruzabadi or Al-Firuzabadi says that, that these verses are the mutashabiha, the ambiguous verses. All meanings finally reside with Allah. But these are kinds of ways in which we are brought to understand what that beauty is. And they can imagine anything in paradise, including crystal vessels that are shimmering like silver. وَإِذَا رَأَيْتَ ثَمَّ رَأَيْتَ نَعِيمًا وَمُلْكًا كَبِيرًا عاليهم ثياب سندس خضر واستبرق وحلوا أساور من فضة وسقاهم ربهم شرابا طهورا إن هذا كان لكم جزاء إن هذا كان لكم جزاء وكان سعيكم مشكورا. And you can see anything that is there, they will see only bliss and a realm transcendent. And upon those who are blessed, they will receive garments of green silk and brocades, and they will be adorned with bracelets of silver, and the sustainer will give them to drink a drink most pure. And then they will be told, this is your reward, since your endeavor in life has met Allah's goodly acceptance. The second part is إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْقُرْآنَ تَنزِيلًا. We have bestowed from on high this Quran upon thee step by step, truly bestowed from on high. So here the revelation is presented grammatically with emphasis. Inna, so that is already an emphasis. Nahnu nazzalna, that's nazzalna is another emphasis. Inna nahnu nazzalna alayka al-Qur'ana tanzila. 3 stresses in one sentence. 3 emphasis. And why? Because while creation and the story of creation at the beginning is important, much more important is revelation, because this is your job. We have to live according to the moral teachings. This is the hard part. The creation of human beings for Allah was easy. Nothing is a challenge for Allah. But for us, living according to the revelation is extremely challenging, and therefore we need to be fit for it, and we need to work toward it, strive to become its responsible bearers and practitioners. فاصبر لحكم ربك ولا تطع منهم آثما أو كفورا. Await then in all patience thy sustainers' wisdom and judgment, and pay no heed to any of them who is a willful sinner or an ingrate. There are going to be people who are going to try and distract you. So here Allah says, فَاصْبِرْ لِحُكْمِ رَبِّكَ. So the hukm here means both the judgment of God, but also the wisdom. So show patience with wisdom, and also know that the judgment will come. Therefore, do not incline to them. وَاذْكُرِ اسْمَ رَبِّكَ بُكْرَةً وَأَصِيلًا. And bear in mind, remember Allah at morning and the evening. وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَاسْجُدْ لَهُ وَسَبِّحُ لَيْلًا طَوِيلًا. And for a portion of the night, prostrate to Allah and extol His limitless glory throughout the long night. Therefore, people say that in the month of Ramadan, but also in other times, that the night is an important time of contemplation, reflection, and meditation. And so we have to turn to Allah in dhikr. And we have to divert our attention from things that are sinful and obscene. And so that preparation at night will really hold out well during the day, because our consciousness at night will be formed by this deep engagement. You know, as they would say, Jahiz and lots of other people describe the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as Fursanun bin Nahar, Ruhbanun bil Layl. They were warriors during the day and monks at night. And that you should not be detracted by the one who is an athim. An ithm, an athim includes not only the external sin, but the sin of the heart. And a kafur, this exaggerated form of ingratitude, is someone who shows ingratitude, is an ungrate, not only through the display of their hands, but also in their consciousness. They are ungrateful. إن هؤلاء يحبون العاجلة ويذرون وراءهم يوما ثقيلا. Those people who are the ungrateful and show ingratitude, the ungrateful ones. As this verse here says about those who are sinful and those who are distracting and so on, they are unmindful of God. They love the ajila, the fleeting life, and they leave behind them yawman thaqila, the difficult day, the grief-laden day, the difficult, the hard day. And it's very interesting, in Arabic, wara'ahum can also mean in front of them. In other words, you are observing what just transpired. So in your mind's eye. So don't be distracted. This word ajula also, there's another place in the Quran. ويدعو الإنسان بالشر دعاءه بالخير وكان الإنسان عجولا. That the human being does or says or calls evil at the same time that he calls out to good. And human being is ajula. So we say hasty. What ajula doesn't mean hasty, literally. It means that you are just giving attention to what is in front of you. You're only looking at surface meanings. You're not looking at the deeper story. You're not looking at the beyond what is waiting for you. And here again, in هؤلاء يحبون العاجلة, from the same root word, they want this fleeting life, this immediate satisfaction and gratification. Now, Allah reminds them here, those who are showing ingratitude, نحن خلقناهم وشددنا أسرهم. Why are they so haughty? Why can't they figure out that we created them? Just look at your body, how we put everything together and strengthened it with a variety of biological components. Put it together. وَإِذَا شِئْنَا بَدَّلْنَا أَمْثَالَهُمْ تَبْدِيلًا. And if it be our will, we can replace them entirely with others of their kind. We must not think that we are not, we are indispensable. We are all dispensable if we don't hold up the moral credo that we've been given, the need to do the right and to stop doing what is evil. And then it's so beautiful. إِنَّ هَذِهِ تَذْكِرَةٌ فَمَنْ شَاءَ اتَّخَذَ إِلَى رَبِّهِ سَبِيلًا. Verily, all this is an admonition. Whoever then so wills may unto his sustainer find a way. But you cannot will it. So let's just pause here. The first verse on the slide. This is an admonition. Whoever then so wills may unto his sustainer find a way. We see tadhkiras, we see reminders around us all the time. Countries collapsing, humanity dying, rich turn poor overnight. All this is an admonition. All this is a reminder, a tadhkira. And if you are reminded, then you can find a way to your sustainer. Don't give up. لا تيأسوا من روح الله. Do not become negative. Do not become despondent of the mercy of Allah. Because that's what the next verse says. Before it comes to the final line, says, وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. But you cannot will it unless Allah wills to show you that way. For behold, Allah is indeed all-seeing, wise. إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلِيمًا حَكِيمًا. وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلِيمًا حَكِيمًا. You cannot will it unless Allah wills. How would Allah wills? That when you see the admonition, you find a path to Allah. That previous verse, فَمَنْ شَاءَ اتَّخَذَ إِلَى رَبِّهِ سَبِيلًا. You must make your will coincide with Allah's will. You must take the step. And you would know that Allah's step will be right there. And Allah is all-seeing, all knowledgeable, the wise. Now, I don't know why Muhammad Asad translated Aliman as all-seeing. I would have said, but he possibly does here a metaphorical translation for Aliman. Allah is all knowledgeable, the wise. And here comes the powerful, for me, the kind of knockout verse. يُدْخِلُ مَن يَشَاءُ فِي رَحْمَتِهِ وَالظَّالِمِينَ عَدَّ لَهُمْ عَذَابًا أَلِيمًا. And Allah admits unto His grace everyone who wills to be admitted. As for the evildoers, for them, Allah has readied grievous suffering in the life to come. This is a very powerful verse. يُدْخِلُ مَن يَشَاءُ فِي رَحْمَتِهِ. This is such a sovereign call. Allah is such a sovereign. يُدْخِلُ مَن يَشَاءُ فِي رَحْمَتِهِ. That He will exercise His will to make us enter into His grace. And therefore, I'm of the opinion that Allah's grace is the eternal life. Because once you are in the eyes of the sovereign, what else do you need? And so therefore, there's a longer discussion here about how does Allah's Mashiach work? How does Allah's Qadr work? Allah's Mashiach is His Qadr, is Allah's production of events and action by Allah's sovereign power, Allah's volition. And that power of Allah unfolds on the earthly substrate or the earthly space. In humans, Allah's sovereign power is manifest in our actions. Allah's sovereign power causes our volition and our ability to lift our finger and to move our limbs. And this is when we are exercising our will. We lift our hands, we put down our hands, we do things and we walk. But inside our organs, as the opening verse says, خَلَقْنَاهُ مِن نُطْفَةٍ أَمْشَاجٍ. And then, that human being that is there. And who keeps our organs from functioning? Who causes the rain? We have no volition over that. Sure, we can say it's a program of nature. At this point, Allah is the effective sovereign power over nature. So Qadr is the effect of a definitive Allah, divine will. At that point or at the nexus when we do an act. So Allah's Qadr, Allah's sovereign power, when I do this, lift my hands, move my hands, that nexus point, Allah's Qadr makes that possible. Allah's sovereign power makes that possible. And then one of the things that in Islamic doctrine we hold so clearly is that we have to express satisfaction and resignation once Allah's will takes effect in the world. That is inerasable. Yes, we can prepare ourselves for the future, but what has already happened is inerasable. And we have to exercise the satisfaction and the resignations over that. The Mu'tazilites and others obviously see all actions as the autonomous actions of the humans. The objection to their view is, if we claim we are the cause of our action, then don't we deny Allah is the ultimate cause of all actions? And would that be a form of association with Allah? The Mu'tazilites, on the other hand, reply that if we deny human causation, then we negate our own responsibility and intending will. Then we will just be like leaves and branches directed by the wind. That means then if we deny that we have any volition. And the kind of multiple verses of the Quran suggest, some verses indicate that human beings are the agents of their deeds, like chapter 6, verse 159, and other verses. And other verses indicate that Allah is the creator of all things. Allahu khaliqu kulli shay'in wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. So the Quranic verses basically talks about human beings as having volition and doing action, and Allah is a sovereign, a creator of all things. And Najmuddin At-Tufi, a Hanbali, a great scholar, student of Ibn Taymiyyah, he says, let's consider a few things. That the effective consequential will that is operative in the world belongs only to Allah. And that's what I would call in today's philosophical terms, teleological causation. The other thing is, the second thing that you need to consider, that Allah is the one who provides the conclusive argument, al-hujjatul baligha, to humanity. Meaning Allah lays out the moral responsibility and the moral law. And thirdly, Allah has pre-knowledge of all things. And so Allah creates our actions in us via the exercise of our will. So Allah is the effective cause at a distance. And humans choose an action, and we do certain things. The will of the human being is close to it. We are the proximate, the close cause, the contemporaneous cause. So we are not caught in the binary or in the polarity of either the sovereign power of Allah or the powerlessness of humans, or the power of humans and rendering Allah as not the creator, or denying that or minimizing that. The Ahlul Sunnah point of view is that it is a single act with two steps. Humans acquire a power, a kasb, we acquire a power, or are delegated a power by the divine to be effective in the world. And so this verse that reminds us again, does not creation and the development of the human being from a clot of congealed blood into a full human being, doesn't that indicate Allah's sovereign power and will in the world? That from nothing we become something. And يُدْخِلُ مَن يَشَاءُ فِي رَحْمَتِهِ. Allah's grace is eternal life, in my view. And walhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. May Allah grant us all the possibility to enter into His grace, and that we can be amongst those who can put others above themselves. Thank you very much for your time. I think we might have a few minutes for some questions, or maybe not.
Shukran so much, Ibrahim. I'm not sure. I don't think we're going to have questions, but just, on behalf of everybody, shukran so much for sharing these insightful reflections. I really like the idea of going away from here and thinking about using my Allah power. I like the metaphor and the idea of also thinking of ourselves as superhuman beings with Allah powers. I think it's a wonderful metaphor. Shukran so much. We are. I know you may still have a whole day ahead of you, but we are reaching the end of the day. So I don't want to linger too much. But I do want to invite Imam Rashid before we close off to conclude the 3-week sessions that we've had on tafsir, and for your kind of concluding remarks there. I'm not sure Imam Rashid will speak about our ongoing programs. You can stop sharing, Ibrahim, if you like.
I'm trying to do that now. This is kind of, I'm not very yeah, sorry about that. Just give me a couple of seconds how to end the screen sharing. Goodness.
There we go.
There we go. Done? Are we out? Okay.
Shukran, Ibrahim, once again, thank you. May Allah bless you with good health, inshallah.
Ameen.
And may Allah, give you the strength, the Allah power to continue sharing your great wisdom with us and to be the great mentor and teacher for all of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and your family, inshallah. Let us conclude with a small dua. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. Allahumma nawwir qulubana bil Quran. Oh Allah, enlighten our hearts with the Quran. Wa zayyin akhlaqana bil Quran. And oh Allah, we ask you to beautify our characters by means of the Quran. Allahumma arhamna bil Quran al-azim. Oh Allah, allow us to receive your rahmah, your mercy and your grace through the Quran. Allahumma dhakkirna minhuma jahilna, minhuma nasina. Oh Allah, revive our memories of whatever we may have forgotten of the Quran. Wa allimna minhu ma jahilna, and grant us understanding of whatever part of the Quran we may not know. Warzuqna tilawatahu ana al-layli wa ana al-nahar. And oh Allah, inspire us to read the Quran during daylight hours and during the night. Waj'alhu lana hujjatan ya maulana ya rabbal alamin. And oh Allah, allow the Quran to be a source of salvation for us in the life hereafter. Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'afu anna. Oh Allah, thou art the pardoner and the forgiver. Thou loves to pardon and to forgive. Pardon and forgive us. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Shukran, jazakumullahu khairan, and may Allah bless all of us, inshallah, and accept our Siyam Ramadan.
Shukran, Imam Rashid. Ibrahim, there's been a request for sharing of your slides. Perhaps you can email them to Imam Rashid, and we can email it to anybody who requests.
Sure. I'll just make a few changes. There's a couple of typos, and I will then share it on. Shukran.
Okay. Shukran so much, and enjoy the rest of your day, and may you have a blessed Ramadan for the rest of the month, inshallah.
You all too, inshallah. Have a good Ramadan.
Everybody.
Assalamu alaikum.